Hey, Bub. So I'm sure you saw the feedback from some of the viewers from last week's weekly. And, well, after reviewing all the feedback and taking in the criticism and, the suggestions and comments and what have you, you're going to come back. So, don't get super excited and all that. We're just going to have to kind of monitor the behavior and make sure that the cohesion between the two of us is solid. So put her there. What was that?
It was my handshake.
Hey, it's Soul. It's October 13th, 2017. It's Friday the 13th. Oh my god. This is Warcraft Weekly, and that's Bob over there, and welcome. As always, we love having you here, and first things first, how was your week? My week was pretty interesting, and well, here's one highlight of it.
Bears wanted it too. It's a month away too.
I thought I needed on it.
No, it's actually good for you.
What was that, Bucket?
I don't play this tune as
All
much.
you gotta do is beat a 9, Soul.
I said I could do it.
What did you have? You had a 9? Alright, hold on.
I had a 15, or a...
Son of a bitch! Fuck!
Oh shit.
Needs it.
Ooh, that hella sucks.
I know. I mean, there was a happy ending. Barracks ended up giving me the item anyway, out of pity. That's how it usually works for me, right? And I don't mean that this is like representative of how my week went. That it's just one thing that happened. Overall, I had a pretty good week. No contest this time around. I'm probably gonna wait and hold off until I do hit that 10,000 subscriber mark. And I don't know if I'm really gonna hit it before BLIZZCon. And it'd be great, but I'm not going to stress over it so much. Okay, maybe I'll stress over it a little bit.
Oh my god, panic.
But I still like hearing from you folks at home or in the car or in the toilet just how your week was. This week's featured YouTuber is Attipark Gaming. This suggestion came... Oh, damn it.
There goes the puppy, ladies and gentlemen. There goes Toffee.
This suggestion came from you, the viewers, and I'm glad that you made this one. This guy, of course, runs another small World of Warcraft related channel, but the big focus on here is on guild running, guild building, and leadership skills. Like a number of people in my guild, this guy has a military background, so that helped to inspire his sort of style of leadership and teamwork.
Is it like in the movies where you're yelling at each other's face and the sergeant going all ballistic?
No, nothing like that necessarily. It's just military inspired. So that has its own kind of hierarchy, and it's not something that I can explain myself. My inspiration for my leadership and team building skills, that comes from a more corporate kind of team building setting, where his is more military. So I would encourage folks to check out his channel if you are interested in running a guild, or if you already are and you're struggling a little bit. Maybe the tips that I have might not be the best. Maybe the tips that Attipark Gaming can offer might be useful. So give him a shot. I think he has a pretty refreshing approach. The Gnomeregan Run mini event that took me 12 takes to say right is going on October 14th. And that's tomorrow.
You forgot again.
Hey, I did not forget. I neglected. Anyway, this event goes on tomorrow, and all you need to do is roll a level 1 gnome, go over to Gnomeregan, and just start going. You're moving from Gnomeregan all the way down to Booty Bay.
Wait. This is not a horde event?
Well, it's an event for everybody, but the whole idea is that it's a gnome event. So, horde players, unfortunately, you just need to roll a gnome. Or if you want to roll a not gnome, you can do it too, but then you'll just feel really awkward. Just roll a gnome with pink hair, and then you're good to go.
I do not have the hair for it, though.
I have no solution for you. My advice, though, if you are interested in the event, is to not just run the one that has been set up by Blizzard, but to actually do the running of the Gnomes event, which is what inspired this whole thing. The whole idea of the Gnomeregan Run / running of the Gnomes event is for breast cancer awareness. Hence the whole pink hair thing,
Oh.
The event is organized on the Scarlet Crusade realm over on the US side. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a European or a China or a Singapore. I wasn't able to find that sort of equivalent among the other regions. But if anyone happens to know, just leave it in a comment below and I'll give it the little heart thing, okay? The event happens at 4 p.m. Pacific, and again, it's tomorrow, so you can take a look at their Tumblr page for more information.
Isn't Tumblr where they have all the porn?
It is, but I looked and there is no porn on their website. I tried looking. you know? This event is important, as like I said, the entire point of this is to raise breast cancer awareness. Proceeds from this event, that is the fan-run event that inspired all this, is going to the Cleveland Clinic. I'll read what they have on their page. Running of the Gnomes will benefit the Cleveland Clinic and the creators of the TUI vaccine that is currently in the early stages of human clinical trials. If the drug is successful, it could be the end of breast cancer. Now, of course, call me a healthy skeptic. I mean, I want to think that we're looking at the end of breast cancer, and don't worry, I'll move on in just a bit. But raising awareness and donating money, it's all going to a good cause in the end. So if nothing else, just do your part to raise awareness. I think it's important to show the gaming industry and the world that the World of Warcraft players, we give a shit about breast cancer. Just this past weekend, Blizzard opened the BLIZZCON Arena so that they can host the Overwatch Contenders Season 1 playoffs. That took 11 takes. Promo pictures have been provided by Blizzard, and from the looks of it, it looks pretty snazzy. I mean, it has like some really cool visuals, it looks clean. I know these are like professionally made. It probably looks trashed after, you know, people got, I don't know, got excited or drunk or whatever. But the other impression I have of this is that, wow, this arena is, it's kind of small looking. And I think that's okay, even though it's called an arena. It kind of gives you that, you know, it kind of gives you that feeling, oh, maybe it's as big as like one of those large stadium-sized arenas where you have like League of Legends games or Dota games or Counter-Strike games or what have you. This one is more intimate. So it took me a little while. It was funny because it took me a little while. I wanted to find the address of this place, and here it is. It looks like the arena is not exactly an arena, but it looks like they just took a big chunk of a studio, pretty much. Maybe the whole thing, because, you know, Google Images isn't like updated that quickly. So I think that's pretty neat. They pretty much repurposed a TV studio to host their Overwatch stuff, as well as any other online stuff that they decide to do. So it makes me think, what else could they do with something like this? Maybe, and when I say maybe, I mean they're hella not gonna do it. You know, they can do a Warcraft Q&A in front of a live studio audience. More reasonably, they can host other esport events for all the other Blizzard games that they offer.
Hey, I know what they could do.
Yeah, what's that?
They could have Lord bring back Tag Spot.
Huh. Well, I was a fan when he did it. Here's the other interesting that I noticed about the arena too. Now, over here we're looking back at that Google Maps picture, but let's look at what's on the other side of the streets. Oh, dang, you know what that means? That means anyone who's there who's going to be watching the games, they can pre-game right there, so that way they don't have to go back across the street into the arena and possibly pay overpriced, overpriced stuff or like refreshments or liquor. You know, I don't even know if they're going to sell liquor there. I mean, if they do or they don't, who cares? That liquor store, they're gonna make fat money. And now, thanks to me, that liquor store's on the map, and everyone's gonna know its name.
Yeah, liquor.
Yup, liquor. Hey, there's a Wiener Schnitzel there too, nice. So I'm going under the assumption that I have this location correct. And if it is, I think that's cool. I think it was modest. I mean, calling it a Blizzard Arena sounded like it was going to be like this big lofty thing that, you know, part of me, it's not like it's really my business to care, but I'm like, wow, that seems like it'd be a big old waste of money. At least something like this, it is a smaller potential waste of money, or, you know, an investment to see, you know, how far they can take esports, because clearly Blizzard and Activision, they're taking esports pretty seriously with the whole Overwatch League and all the stuff that they're going to do. So I'll be interested to see what kind of future events come out of this. Moving right along, we have more BlizzCon hype. Oh my god. Chicken and anyway, last week I was going on for a minute or two about the schedule, going like, oh man, I wish I had the map. But hey, we got the map. So I'm going to pull this up and take a look with you folks, and I'm going to talk some shit.
Ooh.
So I'm looking at the map, and I can easily see already that this year's BlizzCon is going to be the biggest ever. Part of the expansion over at the Anaheim Convention Center comes from that level 1 and level 2 North Hall, which is cool. A big critique that I had about last year's BlizzCon is that there was just so many things going on that it was taking up a lot of real estate, and that was causing some problems with you know, just trying to walk around. Everything else is kind of the standard fare, but the big change is that the Overwatch Arena has moved into that kind of stadium-sized arena over there in that, you know, greenish area. That used to be where the StarCraft 2 tournaments took place, and well, naturally, Overwatch kicked them out. It makes sense, but damn, there's still a lot of space for tournaments to go on. In one of the entrances, we're going to see the Sylvanas statue that was built. We haven't seen it yet. It looks like they're going to unveil it at BlizzCon. But you can bet that as soon as us perverts get a chance, we're going to take a hell of a ton of pictures of it. So stay tuned for that. Here's my concern, my reason to talk shit, okay? The World of Warcraft tournament and demo stage is over at Hall C. Hall D is the main stage. It's going to be a lot of where you're going to see like the biggest Blizzard announcements, and it's where opening ceremonies take place. The concern I have comes with all the crazy excitement that's bound to come when Blizzard inevitably announces the new World of Warcraft expansion. As you can see, the WoW demo area is pretty big. I'm sure they're going to have like a couple of hundred stations available for us to test out this new content, or you know, play it. So I'm like, dude, you're really gonna have like one of the bigger announcements at BlizzCon, a freaking WoW expansion, happen over there on the Mythic stage, and then right next to it is where you're gonna have the demo stations. That's just asking for like a huge fire hazard. I remember last year there were a lot of problems just getting out, and that was mostly due to, like, in my opinion, I think it was just like an organizational thing. You know, the people that were working that area were just not doing a very good job of getting the crowd to keep moving. But naturally, when it comes to a new WoW expansion, people at BlizzCon get super jazzed about it. I mean, I'm one of them. How many people are going to die trying to get to that World of Warcraft demo stage?
Dude, no one is going to die.
Well, yeah. I mean, I won't die. To continue riding the whole BlizzCon hype and, you know, to really cash in on the whole virtual ticket sales, we've been seeing more and more content that's been hyping up the convention. Just recently, Alex and Monica over at Blizzard, they highlighted all the different stuff that's going to be on sale at the convention, and you can probably buy a bunch of this stuff online too. By the way, current virtual ticket holders are able to get into the store and pre-order this stuff now. They have a bunch of snazzy stuff. Some of it might be a little bit overpriced, but you know, that's kind of typical. One thing that MMO Champion happened to point out was a certain shirt of a certain super Dark Titan Demon Lord guy. Because if you look at the screenshot that MMO Champion captured, take a look at the caption below.
Before he could be taken by the remaining Titans, Sargeras, the unholy leader of the Burning Legion, plunged his sword into the depths of Azeroth, immortalized his reign with this new yada yada yada.
But take a look at this as of this recording. The description changed. Oh my god. Now it says,
"Behold, Sargeras, the unholy leader of the Burning Legion, immortalized his reign with this new BlizzCon whatever.
Ooh, they got caught. So yeah, sorry, kind of a spoiler, but man, if you saw that screenshot, I mean, what else is that shaped like?
Well, it's kind of shaped like a woman's.
So speaking of like virtual tickets and all that stuff, oh, Jesus. MMO Champion also jumped into some of the armory data, and they had some pretty interesting information. The most interesting one, though, being just how many, you know, kind of an estimation of just how many people bought the virtual ticket and got this mount. According to their data, and from that they pulled up 1.8 million US and EU players, so we're not even counting like an entire sample of like the entire world's WoW population. 9.4% of people have the BlizzCon mount. So I'm gonna round up, okay? Instead of 1.8 million, I'm just gonna round it up to 2 million. And instead of 9.4%, I'll just say 10%. You take that, multiply it by 40 US dollars, you have $8 million frickin' dollars just from this mount. Damn! And remember, about 30,000 or so of those actually just bought a BlizzCon ticket, so they didn't pay 40 bucks, they paid 200 bucks. So that's like even more damn. Of course, we're getting what we're paying for. On top of the mount, we get a chance at the virtual tickets, or if we get to go to BlizzCon, you know, we're getting our own kind of value, but still, this is a lot of money.
You know, I'd really like to see a little bit of that come in the form of, oh, I don't know, better food trucks, lower character service prices, you know, something that benefits all the players.
No, I think they want to make that fat ass money. So let's go into the last part of the weekly, which is usually whatever is coming in the PTR. One thing to highlight is that there were a lot of changes with the stats that come from the tier gear that's going to drop from Antorus, the Burning Throne. From the kind of feel of it, these stat adjustments were mostly designed to more so strengthen the already existing cool things about our classes and specs. Of course, not everyone's going to agree with it. I just advise double checking MMO Champion and Wowhead to take a look at what kind of stat changes happened for your class and to see if you should give a shit about it or not. And now I want to follow up with the trinkets that are going to be dropping from the last boss of Antorus. I did a quick reaction on this earlier, and to be honest, it was a very quick reaction, so quick in fact that I didn't get all the information, so I want to thank the people that corrected me and clarified some information on it. And here are a couple reactions from you from this week. Jody Satva, who I still need to give WoW token money to, is being cautious and skeptical, which is healthy. She says, I don't know, it seems like Blizz always forgets to put the legendary limit text on how legendaries appear on the PTR. They've done it at least twice now, so I'm going to assume this will count too, in addition to the new ring. It would be nice to be surprised though. Irish Mashy pointed out that these trinkets are not available in LFR and that they're 940 in all difficulties apparently. Growhopeful cited the same thing. One reaction about my thoughts from the Mythic Dungeon Invitational, Bakasor says, making PvP out of PvE. I wish the game could be more like it was in the distant past, but it just can't be anymore. When it comes to appearing offline, loading name says offline mode, for one you want to play, but really avoid that clingy friend for a little bit. Barry Stevenson says that I think having PvE competitions only adds to the overall experience of the game. It was great to see how the teams handled each of the dungeons, and the final match was epic to watch. So to clarify what's going on with these trinkets, at least according to the current PTR data, which again could change at frickin' any time, the non-legendary trinkets do not drop from LFR difficulty. For every other difficulty, at least for the moment, it drops at an item level of only 940, and I admit that kind of throws me off a little bit. Now, it could be that these trinkets will drop at a more appropriate item level, by the time this thing goes live. That's kind of what I'm hoping and guessing. Because if it doesn't, and I'm thinking between the normal and heroic level, this will drive players bananas. I mean, imagine like the world first raiders and the way that they're going to be split raiding normal mode so that they can have their whole roster have as many of these as many of these Pantheon trinkets as early as possible. That's very easily what they're going to do if it goes through the way that it is. Reason being is because the sooner you get that, the sooner you'll be able to start getting those cool little upgrade things for those trinkets. But I'm also thinking to myself that a lot of like mythic raiders or people who are just lucky, they might have like 950, 955 trinkets right now. So when they do see this super awesome Pantheon trinket that they got from the last boss of the raid, it's not an upgrade, at least not yet, and that sort of weirds me out a little bit. I guess more than anything, I just don't see a reason why the item level should be a flat 940 across all difficulties. It doesn't really... I don't quite get the logic behind that. I do get the logic behind having LFR raiders not have access to this trinket though. This is not very different from back in the day in Hellfire Citadel when LFR people were not able to get the upgrades for their fancy schmancy ring. The small problem that I have with that though is that, well, they were at least able to get the ring. It was just the upgrades that they didn't have access to. Now I get it. I understand the feeling of wanting, players of all difficulties to participate in some way, shape, or form, or to, get some of the cool stuff that comes out of these raids. I also kind of sort of get the reasoning behind why Blizzard prevented people from getting those kinds of upgrades from, just queued raids as opposed to traditional raiding. Then again, Blizzard did give in after a while, offering those kinds of upgrades via Valor points. So maybe they'll do it again. All in all though, we are still about a month or so away from the 7.3.2 patch. We still have a number of builds left to go, a lot of discussion and reiterating and bitching to do. So we'll just have to see. So that's going to be it for this weekly, and thank you for watching. I want to thank everyone new who's coming to the channel, and in case anyone had missed any of the stuff that I produced this week, I'm going to have links below. Bob and I love getting your support, your feedback, and your input.
Maybe not all the feedback, okay?
No, but it's all valuable, okay? Feedback like that helps the channel improve. You could also help a little bit more and go the extra mile by becoming a patron. Being a patron almost literally means the world to me because you're giving real cash money in order to support my channel. It's what helps keep the lights on, to help get me new equipment, to feed my dog. I mean, I feed him, duh. I'm just talking about like treats or like fancy things, And it lets me do all these cool things for the community. Sharing your stories, especially the really sad ones, presenting game ideas, promoting discussion, and letting you glance at the madness that goes on in a casual guild during my nightly streams. Like I said though, everything helps, not just being a patron, but just being a supporter of the channel. I'm very grateful, and thank you. So off I go, stay tuned for next week for more news and updates and analyses and silly stuff and Bob.
Hell yeah.
You all have a good one. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.